What is happening, fine people? It is Andrew here for AppleInsider. And if you have not been paying attention, you may not have noticed that the HomeKit camera market is incredibly sparse. There are really only two primary cameras, the Omna 180 from D-Link and what we're looking at today, the Logitech Circle 2. The Circle 2 has honestly a lot of really great features. Easy setup, motion monitoring, debriefs, two-way audio communication, night mode, and an incredibly wide 180-degree field of view. We've been testing the Circle 2 out for months now in a variety of different situations and scenarios, and while it is hands down by far the best HomeKit camera on the market, there is so much more for Apple to do before HomeKit cameras are really as qualified as they should be. So let's go ahead and jump in. Now, one of the first things that we like right off the bat is how kind of modular the Circle 2 is. Not only is it just the camera, but there's different housings that can fit around it. There is a wired and a wireless version of this camera, though it is important to note that the wireless version does not work with HomeKit, which is kind of a restriction imposed by Apple. There are also a ton of different mounting and power accessories that makes this work not only indoor and outdoor, but in a variety of different locations. So inside the basic box though, just picking out the starter kit, which will run you around $180 if you're paying close to full price, you're gonna get the actual Circle 2 camera, the actual power cord, which is integrated into the stand, a little power brick, and then of course just a few different pieces of mounting hardware that's going to make it really handy to put this thing up. If we're looking at like the Omna 180 was just stuck sitting on a shelf. This thing can be mounted on the wall, on the fridges, on windows, pretty much wherever you want to put a camera, this thing will fit. Now, Logitech did a little bit of a weird thing. On the back of this unit, which is encased in a little bit of white housing that comes off pretty easily, is a bunch of little rings which connect to a bunch of pins on the actual stands and power cables. The thing is, while it's good for things like waterproofing and keeping things self-contained, it's a little bit awkward and it makes accessories a little bit more expensive because it actually has to contain the power components in the stand itself. Also, oddly placed is on the back of this is actually where the HomeKit pairing code is. It is super small and it can take a little bit to kind of find when you're actually going through the setup process, but they did kind of hide it on the back of the unit. There is no HomeKit pairing code, at least with ours, actually included in the instruction manual. So you do have to remove this piece of housing and look at the back of the camera to actually get that code. So write it down, save it in an app like HomePass so you have it for in the future, but definitely something to be aware of as you're going through the setting process before you get this thing mounted way up high on a wall. So as you do get this set up, it's pretty straightforward. It literally can be done in minutes, maybe a couple more minutes if you're going through the HomeKit setup at the same time. We start off in the Logi Circle app. Goes through telling which camera you've chosen, signing into your account, or creating a new account, and basically just booting up your camera and getting it ready to go. You'll have to enter your Wi-Fi credentials because this thing does just jump onto your wireless network, and you'll even give this camera a name, which is basically what room your camera happens to be placed in. Logitech has also been pushing out some updates for this camera over time, which has not only included new features, but just added more stability improvements. So you might have an update or two to go through as the camera is set up. But overall, it literally takes a couple minutes to get this thing going, and you can already jump on that live view. Before we go and look through the HomeKit setup and some of the pitfalls of HomeKit that we're seeing with this camera, let's go over some of the really neat features that we're seeing actually with the Logi Circle app. The Omna is pretty bare bones in their app. Like there's motion sensing and that's pretty much it. All storage is local, whereas with the Circle, it's all up in the cloud. So if someone would just steal this camera, you still have all that footage saved and backed up. There is a basic plan, so if you don't want to pay a monthly subscription, fine, no problem. You get a ton of features absolutely for free, but if you want a whole lot more cloud storage, you can upgrade to those paid plans. One of the best features that we found was called Debrief. Basically, you just have to generate a small, short video, basically a time lapse of all the different motion throughout the day. And you can kind of filter that motion out by all motion, high motion, people motion, whatever you want to do. And some of those filters, though, the customized debriefs, that is relegated up to the paid plans, but there still is an easy way to get the free one, works just as well. You can save that video, take snapshots from that video, send it off to share it to someone, or just save it to your local storage on your iPhone or iPad. It's pretty easy to navigate the app. Basically, on the right-hand side, you can see those little motion bubbles. They are color-coded by the different types of activity that they are, so you can jump back in time to view specific spots that it detected motion. It does not record everything. It only records when it detects that motion. On that top left-hand corner, you can jump into the menu to get into a whole bunch of different settings, turning the camera on and off, entering privacy mode, which is basically it'll just not record anything while it's in privacy mode, and privacy mode can be toggled on and off based on your location. Now, alert filters are really neat, just basically allows you to get smart alerts based on different criteria, but those alert filters are going to be, again, left to those paid plans. You can still get alerts, tons of alerts, as many as you want, based on time limits, all that stuff, but to get really granular, you're going to have to start paying at least somewhat of a monthly fee. The camera also has a bunch of settings by itself, including changing that resolution, changing the mic sensitivity, the speaker volume, all that kind of stuff can be toggled in here. Now, as we mentioned at the onset, there's a ton of different accessories. A few of our favorites include the window mount, the plug mount, there's a weatherproof extension kit that you can grab for outside, and the newest one is actually this magnetic mount, which is pretty awesome. Just allows you to magnetically attach this camera to anything that's metal. So that could be fridges, it could be metal door frames, light poles that are outside, rain gutters. All that stuff are perfect locations. And it comes with two different parts, so not only the magnet, but a metal plate. This metal plate has an adhesive on the back, just standard 3M adhesive, though I would not attach this to anything that's kind of a delicate surface, and this is a metal plate that's pretty flush to the wall, it's pretty thin, so it's not really recommended to try to just easily remove this. So put it somewhere smart if you want to mount this somewhere else, but then it just makes it really easy just to throw that up there magnetically onto that plate or any metal surface. So this is a really awesome accessory if you have a metal spot to mount this camera. It works like a lot of the other accessories and will just mount on here to the base. So accessories usually take a couple different forms. They either go on right here to the base or they completely replace that back housing to the camera. It just depends on what you're doing. Like the window mount, you don't need the stand here on the bottom. So it actually just replaces that back and gets rid of the stand completely. For some that are R stands, like the plug mount or the magnetic one, just snaps onto the back of the actual stand itself. Really, really handy, makes these kind of extremely modular and much more accommodating to the situation that you're trying to place them in. The Circle app is also smart, so if you use something like this window mount, it'll do stuff like turn off the LED, so that way you're not getting any glare when this is mounted to your window. Adding the Circle 2 to your HomeKit setup is also very easy. After enabling HomeKit inside of the Circle app, tap on the plus button, then tap that we don't have a code to scan. We will see our accessory automatically show up and we'll just enter that HomeKit code that we grabbed off the back of the camera. Like the Omna, there are two different accessories added. There's the actual Logi Circle, which is going to be the actual camera itself. Then there's a motion sensor, and you can actually use that motion sensor to drive any number of other automations, whether triggering lights, triggering outside lights, whatever you want to do, you can use that motion sensor to do that. So it makes it a really handy accessory to have around your home because it does offer those multiple usage points in the Home app and working with any other HomeKit accessories. Now, sometimes we could not get our Circle 2 to show up in the Home app, and we found out this was because we had to change the resolution to 720p just to make it more stable. This is definitely a downside, but overall, this is still by far the best HomeKit camera out there. We just hope that Apple spends a little bit more time developing HomeKit cameras in future updates. Let us know what you think down below in the comments.
If you enjoyed this video, like it and hit that subscribe button. Also, check out our price guide, which makes it extremely easy to find the best deals on Apple products updated daily. Be sure to follow us on social media, and we'll see you in the next video.